What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I've looked at my YouTube analytics and I've looked at the data. A lot of you aren't subscribed to this channel. If you would, subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. The reason that anybody asks you to do that is because it gets into the YouTube algorithm and pushes these videos out to more people. Much appreciated. So, you're wanting to learn how to aim with traditional gear, whether it be a longbow, a recurve, hunting bow, tournament bow. There are 4 ways that can help. String walking, face walking, gap shooting, and instinctive shooting. And we're gonna cover those 4. If you're new to shooting traditional gear, go ahead, stop what you're doing, go click on the video on my channel where I explain how to shoot traditional gear. I'm gonna give you all of the basics in that video and then come back to this video because it'll all make sense. All right, if you're not new to traditional gear, I have some really cool tips that are gonna help you aim with your bow. I've got a PVC bow. I'm gonna be able to do all that I need to show you with this PVC bow. That way I can explain, you can see, I can release. You can make one of these at home too. Let's cover string walking and face walking first. So string walking and face walking allows you to put the tip of the arrow on your target where you want to hit at no matter what distance you're at. So 10, 20, 30, some people even shoot 40. I ain't shooting 40, 20 and under is good for me. But string walking and face walking is gonna allow you to put the tip of the arrow in the same spot, and the only thing that you're moving is either your fingers on the string or your fingers on your face. The easiest way I can explain this is you're either bringing the arrow nock closer to your eye, which shoots lower, or you're bringing the nock further away from your eye, which shoots higher. So check this out. The higher I go, see that arrow tilting down? The lower I go. The higher I go, shoots lower. The lower I go, it shoots higher. So let's say that you shoot split fingers or glove or tab or 3 fingers under. This is all going to apply to you, and there are going to be some really good tips. I shoot split fingers with my hunting bow, and I will face walk instead of string walk. With my tournament recurve, I will shoot 3 fingers under, and I'll string walk instead of face walk. So let's cover string walking. String walking is moving my fingers up and down the string and putting the tip of the arrow on the target no matter what distance. Let's just say that I'm shooting split fingers, which means I got 1 finger over, 2 fingers under, and I'm at 20 yards. So let's say my 20-yard anchor is in the corner of my mouth. Well, at 20 yards, with me anchoring like I normally do, using the tip of the arrow to aim, I might be on point. I might not have to move anything. All of this is going to take practice. So if you're on point at 20, then you'll just have to go from there. If you're on point at 15, then just go from there. There's a point where you won't have to do anything because you'll find what yardage is called on point or being dead on, if that makes sense. So let's say at 20, I'm dead on. Well, at 20, I don't really have to do anything. But what about when I'm closer? What do? So string walking, if I'm closer, don't forget, I want to bring this arrow nock closer to my eye. So I'm going to go 3 fingers under, all right? So at 20, I'm anchored in the corner of my mouth with my middle finger, and I'm holding where I want to, but at 15, in order to put the arrow nock in the same spot, I've got to adjust what's happening here if I want to do that. So what I'm going to do, instead of going split fingers, and you can probably see better on this side, instead of going split fingers, I'm going to go maybe 3 fingers under. Again, all this is going to take practice. Now, what about when I want to go at 10? I may be shooting a lower pound bow where I've got a lot of drop and a lot of, stuff happening between 0 to 25 because I'm shooting a lower poundage bow, maybe a heavier arrow, or let's say you're shooting a faster bow and a faster setup. A lot of this you may not even have to move a whole lot. It just depends on your arrow setup, your bow setup, poundage, all of that stuff. All right, so let's say I do that from 20 to 15 to 10. Well, what do I do from 20 to 30? How do I move up and down the string anymore if you know, I'm already split fingers? And the thing is, you really can't, because it is very uncomfortable. You don't want to do a 2 over, 1 under, because then things start kind of flying weird. Once it starts to feel uncomfortable and you start to, you know, feel like, man, my arrow's flying weird, because you can only move so much up and down the string before things start flying weird, and you can only move so much up and down your face before things start getting weird. You don't want to do things that are crazy. You want to move in, you know, smaller portions to where everything still flies the same. All you're doing is making it to where you can still use the tip of your arrow to aim. So that's string walking. You're moving your fingers up and down the string. Again, that's as far as you can go, really. But the closer you get, you may be able to go down. And it may help you, you know, from 10 to 20. And then, you know, at 30, you may want to face walk. So let's talk about face walking instead of string walking. So face walking is allowing you to use the tip of your arrow to aim. Instead of moving your fingers on the string, you're moving your fingers on your face. So here's what that looks like. So again, at 20 yards, let's say I'm split fingers again at 20 yards. Or, you know what? Let's do 3 fingers under, because, you know, I know a lot of you guys shoot 3 fingers under. So 3 fingers under. Hope that arrow knock doesn't come off. 3 fingers under, I'm anchored in the corner of my mouth, and that's where that arrow knock is. Okay? So let's say I'm on point at 20. At 15, I know that I need to move that arrow knock closer to my eye, because it's going to shoot higher if I don't, because I moved closer. So let's say I move from 20 to 15. So let's say this is at 20. At 15, I want to bring that knock closer to my eye. You see, the way that I'm either split finger or 3 fingers under, it stays the same. That's why I do it with my hunting bow. Excuse me. It stays the same. So this allows me to keep the same 3 fingers under or split finger. And all I'm doing is, if I'm at 15, if I'm 10, 15, maybe I'm here. And then maybe I'll go 20. Then what do I do if I'm at 30? Well, I move it lower. Does that make sense? So the further I am away from the target, the further this knot goes from my eye. And again, you'll just have to practice on what works for you. All right? So that is string walking and face walking. Let's talk about gap shooting. Gap shooting, I know a lot of people that do that. Gap shooting is where you're kind of still using the tip of your arrow to aim, but it's not on the target that you're going to hit, if that makes sense. So for example, let's say at 20, I'm still dead on. I can anchor the same, I can put it on the spot, and then I can let it go and it's going to hit where I want it to. Well, gap shooting, if I move closer, let's say I go to 10, if I do that, the same thing that I did at 20, and I move that to 10, I'm going to hit however many inches high. So let's say I move from 20 to 10 and I hit 5 inches high. Well, there's a gap there that I've got to fill. That means if I shoot 5 inches high, at 10 yards, I need to aim 5 inches low. That way it hits the target where I want it to hit. Let's say I go from 20 to 30. Let's say it has a 8-inch drop from 20 to 30. Well, that means at 20, if I'm anchored here, at 30, I may hold 8 inches high. So instead of moving anything up here, I'm moving the tip of the arrow. That's called gap shooting. There's a gap, and you're trying to figure out what that gap is and how to accommodate. How high do I need to hold at 10, or low do I need to hold at 10? How high do I need to hold at 20, or low do I need to hold at 20? That's gap shooting, all right? Instinctive shooting is the last one, and it's exactly what it sounds like. Instinctive shooting is just you pulling back and going, that feels good. Right about there. And you're not using anything except your instincts. That's instinctive shooting. I know. Pretty crazy. Pretty hard to understand. But that's instinctive shooting. There's not a whole lot to it. It just takes practice. On all of these, it takes practice. So instinctive shooting is you going, feels all right, and practicing that is what gets better. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, let me know. If you have any questions, please ask. Whether you're a tournament guy or you're a bow hunter like I am, I'll get to those questions because I want to help out. I know this was a lot to unpack in a video, but I hope this helps. Remember, practice, practice, practice. Find out what works for you.